Hello, today we're here to talk about long-term disability insurance, as many times people have questions as to what exactly is long-term disability insurance. Is it something I should be concerning myself with? And if so, what sort of coverage level should I be looking at? Whereas financial planners, we're big proponents of making sure that any of our clients who are actively working have at least 60% of their income covered in the form of long-term disability. Now, certainly it's highly unlikely that any of us are going to become permanently disabled. However, it's fairly common that some of us are going to have some scenario whereby we need to rehab for anywhere from 6 to a year and a half. So think of cancer treatments, or being in a car accident or a bike accident, or if you're a surgeon and you unfortunately injure your hand and need to go through rehab to get up and running again so you can perform surgeries. These are the types of things where long-term disability comes in handy. So as we mentioned, 60% coverage is kind of a perfect world scenario, and thankfully many of us work for employers that provide some level of group coverage. Now, if you happen to be one who does have an employer that provides group long-term disability coverage, congratulations, but we'd want you to make sure you understand a couple things about your group coverage. One is exactly what percentage of your income do they cover, because sometimes they only cover 50%, but they allow you during your annual enrollment period to buy it up to 60 to 65%. If that's the case, we would advise you to buy it up. That buy-up portion you pay for the premiums, and typically the employer pays for the first 50% coverage. The second thing we'd want you to understand is with your group coverage, is there a monthly maximum amount? Typically, the monthly maximum is anywhere between $5,000 and $15,000 a month. So if you are a high income earner and your group coverage caps out at $10,000 a month, you may have a gap there that you're going to want to fill with an individual policy. The third item you're going to want to understand as it relates to your group coverage is who's paying the premiums and who's being taxed on it. So many times the employer pays for your disability premiums, which means that if you ever went on claim, you went on disability, yes, they'd pay you 60% of your income, but now that 60% is taxable to you because your employer was paying the premiums. So you only net down 40 to 45% of your normal salary. If you talk to payroll and get them to tax you on the premiums that your employer is paying on your behalf, that makes any benefit that you were to receive through disability tax-free to you. So keep that in mind. Now, for those of us who either have employers that provide group coverage but it's capped out, or we don't have employers that provide group coverage, or we happen to be self-employed, we are then forced to go out to the marketplace and look at purchasing an individual disability policy. Now, this whole exercise can be quite confusing and it's quite expensive insurance coverage, but the things you're going to want to keep in mind is to make sure you understand, is this disability policy you're looking to purchase, does it cover any occupation or just the occupation that I am currently working in? You also want to make sure that your monthly benefit amount that you choose, that it either goes up based on inflation, so it has an inflation rider, or you have the ability every few years or so to buy up more coverage without proving evidence of insurability. So we are big proponents of making sure our clients have coverage, whether it's through a group policy or through an individual policy, keeping in mind that your individual policy is portable, which is important as well. So if you have any further questions, hopefully this information has been helpful to you. Please feel free to reach out. Thanks.